Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for the 5th installment of my Machinima making tutorial. In the last installment, we covered acting out gameplay in great detail, and I'd like to go into that a little further with you before we move on to camera work. I'm going to tell you right off the bat that there won't be many comical sketches in this installment, as the material covered isn't really ripe for parody, but it needs to be covered. So, sorry. Sue me. Okay. While you're acting out gameplay and moving players from point A to point B on your forge sets, be very easy on the 2 analog sticks. If you want to make someone walk, push very lightly on the left analog stick and try to maintain that same pressure constantly so the player isn't oddly slowing down and speeding up. If you want a player to look around, tilt the right analog stick in whichever direction smoothly and don't make any sharp stops or jerks. Also, keep in mind which direction your player is facing when looking around. This is kinda hard to explain, but depending on how your character is aligned with the left analog stick, looking around may produce undesired results. If you want a player to walk and turn at the same time, always maintain the same walking level pressure upwards on the left analog stick and take wide turns using an unchanging pressure on the right analog stick as well. Don't make your player do a walking sidestep during a turn with the left stick. Always walk forward and let the right analog stick do all the turning. Okay, now that that's out of the way, and if you're not too busy right now writing me an email about how much of a hypocrite I am for saying not to record Machinima off your television screen with a video camera just before releasing Final Moments last week, let's talk about theater mode and capturing footage.
Huh? Cool! I'll finish this email later.
As you finish acting out each individual scene of gameplay on your forge sets, you should be saving the films, not just hoping that they stay in your temporary recent films list should they accidentally get deleted or overwritten. Naming the films appropriately helps a lot too, and numbering them appropriately so you know the order in which to play them and capture film. You may reach a point where you have to capture some gameplay in forge mode for an object moving, or perhaps a large door sliding open or closed, made possible by moving said door in Forge's edit mode. If you do save a Forge film, don't forget that it won't appear in the same film list in theater mode as all the other films you've acted out in Slayer. Forge is its own category and you'll find your film in there. Hopefully, with the help of part 2 of this tutorial, you have your capture hardware and software all ready to go. What you need to do now is go into theater mode, sign all other players out except for one, the camera, and start up the first gameplay film you want to capture. The first few minutes of your film will probably be garbage gameplay of just getting your players into position, so you'll want to just fast forward through the film until you get to the point where the acting actually starts. If you don't feel like holding the right trigger down for that long, you can hold the trigger down, press start to pause, let go of the trigger, then unpause, and the film will just fast forward by itself. Just press A or tap the right trigger to stop it. Once you find the point that your players begin to act, that's when you should actually start recording with your capture hardware to cut down on file size and video length. Some people like to stop recording when a single shot is completed and then start recording again for the next shot, but when I start recording, I don't stop until the entire film is through, and I name the video whatever the name of the level being played on is. If there's more than one video for one level, let's say Valhalla, I'd name them Valhalla 1, Valhalla 2, and so on. Alright, let's talk about controlling the camera. You may want to start off your Machinima with some environment shots. For a fixed shot, just find a nice angle where you can get a lot of obvious things within the boundaries of the camera, like the sun or some trees or whatever, and just keep the camera there. If you're going to do a scrolling shot, find a nice angle, leave some room for the camera to move, and apply slight pressure to the left analog stick in whichever direction you want it to go. The important thing, though, is to maintain that exact level of pressure. If, in your Machinima, it's apparent to the viewer that the camera slows down slightly or speeds up or kind of stops and moves again or jerks around, you've destroyed the illusion. So if you make that error, go back and try again. Presentation is very important. That applies to any other kinds of shots too. When filming characters, usually what you should do is split the screen up into thirds in your mind. And if a character is looking to the right, position him at the first imaginary line from the left. Or if he's looking to the left, position him at the second. If the character is talking to another guy, keep the camera on the same side of both of them at all times, and just tilt the camera to whoever's speaking. Because of the default Spartan standing pose, it's tempting to switch sides with the camera, so you get a clear body shot of each character, as opposed to having his arm and gun kind of in the way. But if you do that, then during the conversation between the two players when you're editing, they'll both be facing the same side of the camera, and this is breaking one of the rules of cinematography. The two conversing characters should be looking at opposite ends of the camera when being filmed at all times. I realize I used to break this exact rule myself in my earlier days, but I've learned since then, and now I'm passing the knowledge on to you. Try avoiding using the third-person fixed camera position too much, as it's a little too static and unnatural looking. It's kind of like if you had a video camera attached to a pole on one end, and a tennis ball on the other or something, and you threw the tennis ball somewhere. The tennis ball is fixed to the camera, so while it's flying through the air, it would appear in the camera as though the ball's not moving, and just the background is, if you know what I mean. It looks a bit funny. Not to mention, of course, it's a bit of a cut corners way of filming if you think about it. Your machinima is going to be a lot more interesting to watch if the viewer sees that you've put that extra effort into controlling the free camera professionally and entirely by yourself, instead of just relying on the third-person fixed camera. Let's talk about shaking the camera. Sometimes, during intense action sequences, you're going to want to shake the camera around a bit. The trick is to always keep the target object or characters in the frame at all times, and never push the right analog stick in any direction all the way when you do it. Only push the stick roughly halfway in whichever direction, and as soon as you've done that, tug it halfway in another direction. Always keep it moving, like constantly. This is difficult, and don't think I get it perfect every time. Sometimes I find myself doing a single shaky camera shot up to 30 times before I get it right. I just do it, and if I fuck up, I just swear at the TV for a bit, press left on the D-pad to rewind it, and then try again. You'll get a decent shot eventually with enough practice and attempts, so don't worry. Also, when filming action sequences, be sure to get many different angles of the same event, so you have a lot of different angles to play with when you're editing later on. Take advantage of the fact that because you can go back and forward in time, you know when and where certain objects or characters are going to end up. So you can go a bit forward in time, place your camera in a great place for a dramatic angle, then rewind, keep your camera in the same place, and just sit back and watch things unfold. Panning and zooming can be a cool way to dramatize a scene. Use it during a monologue perhaps, or during an action sequence, or when some crucial information is being revealed by a character that advances the plot. Don't overdo it though. Oh, thought we had a little comedic sketch there coming up. We got something, right? We don't have anything? Oh, no, you gotta be joking. Jesus Christ. Do you have any idea how pissed everyone's gonna be? There hasn't been a single sketch in this entire episode for, I don't know, how long is this? Like 8 or 9 minutes? I don't know how long it is. Anyway, they're gonna be leaving me YouTube messages, giving me 1-star ratings. They're gonna send me emails. I'm gonna have 500 emails, all the same subject, saying, Digital Fear, what the fuck were you thinking, not putting any funny shit in part 5? I'm gonna have kids registering on my forums who have nothing better to do when they come home from a shitty day at school but bitch and complain, and they're gonna create topics talking about how much of a fucking asshole I am. Please, just look around for something. There has to be something. There has to be something. Just play anything. I don't care what it is. Just please, just find something we can play, something we can show them, because I don't want to deal with all that shit. Please, just, you know, We got something? Oh, thank the Lord. Okay. Should I just repeat the last line? Like the whole thing? Oh no, just the end. Okay. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Don't overdo it, though. We've only got 3 minutes of fuel left, and we're 500 miles from the nearest landing zone!
Not only that, but this plane is wired with explosives that are set to go off in 2 minutes!
We have to get everyone off now! Where's the damn parachute?
There's only one parachute on board, and it's filled with deadly Japanese fighting spiders! This is a hijacking! Take this plane to Cuba!
Oh, shit!
Be careful! That isn't a terrorist! It's a robot! And it's gonna explode in 30 seconds!
Exterminate! Exterminate!
Shit, we're being attacked by aliens!
That alien was actually an undercover cop investigating all the money you and I stole from the orphanage. Unfortunately, I don't feel like splitting the profits, so it looks like I'm gonna have to kill you too.
I have a heart rate monitor that sends a radio signal to an entirely different set of explosives on this plane. You'll kill us both! But not if I kill us both first.
Fuck!
That's all I got time for, but stay tuned for the final installment of my tutorial, which will cover editing and voice work, rendering, and then uploading, and some tips on how to get yourself recognized. Thanks for watching. See you later.